Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we will be taking a look at Just My Kind of Type hosted on the Meta CTF platform, and this CTF is in partnership with Antisyphon training. This is actually part of a series of CTFs called Flash CTFs, and this is under the web category. So before I start, I would like to give a disclaimer. All actions showcased in this video are meant solely for educational purposes, and me, the author, is not responsible for the misuse of techniques showcased in the video. Please ensure that you have prior written permission before carrying out any of the actions described in a live production environment. With that out of the way, let's talk about the tools used to solve this CTF challenge. So for me, I'm currently in the Flare VM setup. So Flare VM is basically packaged by Mandiant. So there is you need to download a Windows OS and thereafter run a script by Mandiant to set up your environment with mal analysis tools. So some people call it the Kali Linux of mal analysis. Alright, moving on. Let's go and read the challenge description. If it passed the test, it's good, right? Thankfully, QA wrote some basic security requirements this time, so the developers had to go back and add some protections around file uploads. The AppSec team doesn't think this new app is as secure as it should be. Can you check it out? You can access the website here. The flag is located at /flag.txt on the system, so this implies is at the root directory, so it's quite easy to access. But I actually spent quite a lot more time on this challenge than I thought because I didn't read the challenge description properly. So this is one of the clues, and the second is that there are some protections around file uploads. Okay, so when we open the site itself, it appears to be a company forum under construction, and they have a working profile page which we can check out. So we can click on visit your profile. It's quite a simple profile page. There's a picture, there's some sample text description, there's the name of the user. Under the personal information tab, which is the only tab, there's the email and the phone number of the user. We can also edit the profile of the user, and if you click on the button, we are redirected to this page, edit profile.php. So click the button to upload a new profile image, right? So we can actually try to just browse and click another image and try to upload it. Submit query. Okay, so apparently this is one of the filters. So PNG files are allowed. So what we have submitted earlier was a JPEG file. Okay, just to let you know, I have on my desktop this set of payloads which I will use later. So there's a few images and a few payload files. So how do we first go about determining what kind of challenge this is? So this is a web challenge, and since the extension is PHP, we can assume that it's got to do with PHP and the web. So you can do we can search, for example, PHP web vulnerabilities. Okay, so 7 top vulnerabilities. Right, we have SQL injection, XSS, CSRF, PHP object injection, authentication bypass, session hijacking, and stream injection attacks. So what we see now is actually like a local or remote file inclusion, because we are able to upload a file locally from what we have in our machine locally. So we can use this to our advantage. So we can go on to actually find out what are the rest of the filters and then maybe bypass it later on. So actually, while researching the web, I first came across this article by Gobius. Okay, so you can take a look and read this. I'll link in the description. This is a standard payload for PHP. So if you don't know it, use the system method to get the parameter of C. So for example, after we upload it, the image will probably be in the directory like something like /upload, and then the file name itself, then we can pass on a parameter like c equals to mi. So this will give us remote code execution if this is not sanitized and executed literally by the PHP engine, right? But as we can see, there's some content type filtering going on, right? So sometimes they actually check the file type, for example GIF file, or in our case only PNG files are allowed. So what we can do is actually come up with a few payloads, right? If we actually created a few payloads beforehand, we can have we can also insert the PNG magic bytes into before the payload, right? Just in case it checks for the PNG. So how do we confirm whether this PNG magic bytes or the file header is being checked by the PHP engine? What we can actually do is we can change the file extension. This was originally JPG, so we change it to PNG first, then we try to upload it. So we go to the profile editor and then we browse for this image and we try to just submit it. Okay, so the new profile image is captured, and then now it's also loaded in the view your profile pane. Alright, what we can do next, so we have determined that this PNG is actually not needed, so we can actually remove this, right? Then we try to just submit this payload itself. Let's see if it works. So sample1.php.png, submit query. Okay, so only PNG files with a valid file size are allowed. So we can assume from this that there is actually a check for the file size. It may be too large, it may be too small, so we can try. But in our case, we cannot reduce the payload size because it is just this, right? We need the whole set of codes to execute, or the whole set of ST characters to form the particular payload. So what we can do is actually create another payload. So this is an exact replica of the first one, just that there's a few, I press enter a few times, right? Okay, so when you actually view this in HXD, so we can go and launch HXD first. Thereafter we can put the sample2 file into HXD. We can actually see that it's represented as ... after that, so it's kind of a padding. Obviously you can view it 0000000 also, but this just gives a new character. So a combination of this 0D 0A is the new line character, or carriage return line feed. Alright, so let's try to upload this and see whether it also works. Okay, so the second one, but there's some issue with it. So what I did was I also did a bit of research, right? I reread the article and then I found this, as mentioned earlier, that it may be uploaded to a particular directory. So we can try to access to the directory directly. So let's try with just upload first. Upload, and then it gives us the 404 not found. So let's look elsewhere. So let's try uploads, but we see it's forbidden. So what this means is that the directory exists, but we have no permission to access it. So we don't have visibility on our files that are uploaded. So let's just go back to the main homepage. And then what I did was, since it's not being checked, maybe I can just pad it with some additional bytes, right, that are like garbage bytes. So I just took the GIF header and then just slapped it in. Okay, let's try now. So let's browse for the file. Recall previously we padded at the back, so we padded carriage return line feed at the back. Now we're padding in the front. So we select sample 3 and then we open it and then we submit the query. So now we have a new profile image apparently. So when we go to check, of course there's nothing because it's just run. We probably know that it sort of run the code. So what we can do is actually to view page source, right? And then we can actually find the entire path of the image on the file system itself. Okay, because usually they want to group things together and make it neat and tidy. So what we can do is to copy this link and then navigate to it directly. Okay, so we have some remote code execution. This shows us that our code execution was successful, just that there's an error message. So it says cannot execute blank command because we haven't supplied a parameter to it as shown in the previous article, right? We need to supply, for example, $c equals -mi, so we can just copy this and then we can just append it to the end of the URI. And then reload the page and we see that we are data. We can also do things like, for example, cat etc password. Yep. Okay, and this gives us more information about the machine. So what we are concerned about, okay, if they didn't give us this flag.txt, or because I didn't read this in the first place, so what I did was, based on the output given, I went to actually search which of the users have interactive shell. So search for bin bash. So only root has a interactive shell. So I actually wanted to list out the what was in the root directory. So what I did was I tried to ls tag l/root, but obviously the flag wasn't there, so there's no output. Okay, we can also list the flag directly by just concatenating it on the screen. So cat flag /flag.txt as described. So this is the flag for you, but I actually took a different approach in solving this. So let me just show you my alternative approach. I kind of got stuck on this article, then I went to look for another article, so I referred to this one, which is also quite good. What I did was that I was reading that there were restrictions on the system, so most likely there are restrictions to the number of commands that can be ran also. So this article is quite good. Actually gives you a list of possible commands, so you can actually create another script and run it, same as how you actually upload the images itself. So you just browse and then you select this find.php. Okay, let me just show you the contents of find.php. So basically is okay, sorry, not find.php, it's another one, check commands.php. So this whole string was just copied from the earlier article itself. So what I can do is to just upload it. So I select it, open, and then submit the query. Alright, and then same as the previous case, just go to view my profile, view page source, go and copy the URL again, and thereafter paste it in. Okay, so these are the list of commands that can be used. So I actually tried to use exec, pass through, and whatsoever, but I ended up with I tried using exec lah. So let's just try to use exec here. Exec who am I? So browse. So even though we've gotten the flag, this is just like my thought process at that particular point in time, and then we just submit the query. Okay, so same thing, we go to the profile page and then we view page source, we open the particular link. Okay, but we see there's nothing there. So why is there nothing there? Let's just go back to the article and read again. Okay, for exec, it says a command but doesn't output the result, so that may be a reason why. So I saw and I just read through this article and saw that there's this pass-through function that looks quite interesting. So I decided to use it instead of the as an alternative, the final payload that I used, alternative to this particular payload itself, right, the one with the bytes at the front, is this, right? Just PHP show source and then this. Okay, maybe it wasn't passed through, I remember incorrectly. So let's just try to reload and put the flag in. Okay, so it was payload, submit. Okay, same thing, go to the home page, sorry, not the home page, the profile page, and then follow the URL. And there we have the flag. Okay, so now I also want to mention, if they don't mention this, how do you find where the location? So we can actually use a find command. That's where the this payload comes in. So let's just open it. Okay, so we have the padding in front as usual. Then we have PHP. Then we can use this pass through function. Okay, so pass through, as we read earlier just now. See here? Yep. Pass through executes a command and returns the output in the raw format. Okay, so we can try to upload this, right? And the command is find from the root directory where the file has a name of flag.txt. So once we open the file, once we upload the file, okay, find, then we submit it, and then we have uploaded the picture, so we can go to the profile page to confirm again. And we copy the link, and then after we open, then we can see the where it's held. So if this wasn't mentioned, this is one method you can use to actually find out where the flag is, right? Okay, that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching.